Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Good morning, Nick. Morning, Monica. Morning,
Hi,
Noah.
John.
On a beautiful cold day like today. So did that moose bed down by your cougar or mountain lion down by the water very long?
So about, yeah, quite a long time, maybe 6 hours.
Wow.
And the interesting thing was there was another bull right up the hill from it. So there were two of them.
Wow, they couldn't decide who's getting the cat. One time we were living over by on Fawn Court there by Clatt and John, and it was the cul-de-sac we were living in, and it was like National Geographic in our backyard. There was two bulls with both of their harems had bedded down for like 3 weeks out in our backyard. I mean, these are huge bulls, you know, with big racks. Then every once in a while, a smaller bull would come by and try to steal a couple of the cows. And the big guys didn't like it. So we had some duking it out in the backyard. It was pretty amazing.
We had 3 of them at our old house. We had 3 of them duking it out in the front yard one time in September. It was amazing.
Well, I checked out your track on Cubano Chant. Sounds good. Nick, I checked out yours too. Nice job.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I loaded it up into rather than, well, I put it both in my digital performer, well, you know, along with all the other tracks, but then I loaded all the other tracks up into Logic too. So you play around with that a little bit more. And that's so similar. Hey, I got a question for you. In Logic, it wasn't really obvious to me, and I know you talked about this before, as to how you set up your desktop, you know, like home base template. Where in the menu items there do you go to actually set that up, you know, when you're trying to set it up?
Yeah. So it's interesting with the key commands. Here, let me do this real quick.
Here, I'll make you a co-host here.
I got it though. I think you had the screen share enabled.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
Let me see here. What was I doing?
That's nice. I like
Yeah,
big, I like big notes.
I like big notes and I cannot lie.
That's right.
So let's see. If I hit Option K, I get my key commands.
Okay.
This is that is a very important place to be able to go to. I use a lot of the things that are default, but some of the things that I got used to using back before Logic 10, like I got used to a bunch of things in Logic 8 that I really liked the functionality of.
Right.
And then they changed by the time I got to Logic 10, so they went away. And so quickly unlocking lock unlock current screen set. I have that on Shift Command L. And as I recall, when I got Logic 10 on this computer, that did not come as a default. That was a default in Logic 8. So I had to go back in there and make that key command.
Okay.
Yeah, so Option K gets you into your key commands. And so one big thing you want to do in general is learn how to write new key commands. So
how do you do that?
So say, for example, there's a key command here that I think would be, like, let's say I was doing a lot of film editing and it said lock, unlock, SMPTE position, right? Then I might want to put a key command on that. So I'm going to come up with some combination of modifiers and some key, like let's say I did that. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to say learn by key label. And now it's waiting for me to hit some kind of key label. And I'm going to hit all 4 modifiers, Shift, Control, Option, and Command. I'm trying to think of something that probably haven't used yet. And 0, for example. And luckily, it was there. If I hit all those modifiers and 0, then it just gave me a new key command. I don't actually really need to have a key command for lock, unlock, SMPTE position until I'm way more advanced in my career, making millions of dollars scoring movies. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. But, did you see what I did, John? I had this little learn by key label button in blue, and then I selected the one that I wanted to add a key command to, and I just typed in what I wanted it to be.
Right,
right. If you type in something that's already in use, it'll ask you a question like, do you want this to be universal and override the other key command, or do you want this to only be in certain, like this key command only works when you're in a certain window. Like, for example, when you're in the notation window, this key command will work, but if you're in your arrange window, it's the normal one, or whatever. So when you come up with a duplicate, it'll ask you some kind of nuanced questions. But what you want to do is you want to go to lock, unlock current screen set and hit Shift Command L. That's what the default used to be.
Okay.
Once you've got that, then what you can do is, you hit 1 and it'll take you to whatever the default is. And my default looks like that. It's my arrange window. But what you can't see right now is that I got my piano roll is over on the left, and my mixer is over on the right. Right. So I got 3 screens. When I hit 2, I got my arrange window, but those 2 other ones have just switched places. And then when I hit 3, I've got my mixer front and center. I've got my arrange and my piano, etc. So I've got 3 screens lined out. And you're actually looking at my template right now. That's why everything's like pretty blank. Is that this is just like where I start. I was just kind of using this little session to teach a 9-year-old student the names of the notes on the staff yesterday. That's why I had my big notes. Right.
There you go.
But,
in Digital Performer, they have like a preferences thing that you go into. And it allows you to set up how you want your screen to set up. Pretty straightforward. You can
gotcha. Well, this is pretty straightforward too. You just have to have that key command in there, and I don't know why they don't. It doesn't start with that as a default at this point.
Yeah.
But so once you hit number 1, and what you do is you put everything how you want to work with it. You set it up the way you like it. and then you're going to hit Shift Command L. And can you see there's a little 1 up here with a little dot on my screen?
Yep, I can see
Right?
that.
If I hit Shift Command L, that little dot will go away. Now I can change some stuff. And if I hit Shift Command L again, the dot comes back. Now that's the way it's locked. Right?
I got you.
And then you can go to 2, and when you go to 2, you'll have a different view, and your 2 won't have a little dot yet. Set up your stuff, and you hit Shift Command L, and you hit your little dot. Then you go to 3 and stuff, and you go through and set up your things the way you like to work. You know?
Okay.
I've got about 11 of them.
All righty. Well, good. Well,
Yep.
thanks for the tip. So let's see. We got almost everybody here. Noah's here. Anybody sitting out in the waiting room? Valerie's not coming today because she's dealing with family issues. She's booking a trip to go out of town. Her brother, who had a brain tumor last year in New York City and is on the terminal list, is getting transferred. Here's the thing. He gets divorced. He's in this, he's like a stock trader back in New York City, Wall Street. He gets divorced, marries a younger wife who's like 20 years his junior. They're going to have a kid, and then he finds out he's got a brain tumor, and the brain tumor totally disables him. So Valerie last year was going out there off and on a number of times, and then his younger wife decided, which the family doesn't get along with too well, but she decided she didn't want to have anything to do with him. The only reason she was sticking around was because of the kid. And so she basically wants to get divorced now. And so Valerie's going to bring him back to Denver, which is where Valerie's mom and sister, brothers live. And they're going to work on taking care of him there. So anyway, she's getting that set up, and I guess they're going back to Denver for a Thanksgiving thing with her family. So that's where she's at. That's why she's not here today. And I think Brock is probably out hunting caribou or something like that. I think every fall they go hunting. Anyway, so I think we got who we have are going to be here. Hey, I've got one thing. I sent you guys a schedule for today. We thought we're going to have Peter Ratner come and talk to us about mixing and things like that a little later on here at 10:30. But we thought, first of all, that we would go over a couple of housekeeping items and maybe go over a mix of, say, like Tyler and Noah's thing. And the only thing I got to say, 2 things. One, is what's that?
There was just like a typing. I couldn't hear you. If someone could mute themselves.
Yeah, who's typing? Is that Nick?
Okay, I just
Nope.
couldn't hear.
Somebody was typing. Oh, Monica. Monica's going after
It always cracks me up how typing sounds like somebody eating a really big bag of chips really fast.
it. Anyway, so for housekeeping, what I wanted to go over, I think there's been some questions about these song form sheets, like as a producer, what do you need to give your musicians? And I'm going to share my screen real quick with you guys and show you what I think is a good format to go with. So let me do that. And when you're working, can you all see that now?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. When you're working with any of these sequencer DAWs, they're literal. I mean, they go from 0 to on and on and on. So no matter how many times you repeat the song or whatever, their bars continue to mount up on you, just like a loan interest. And so when the important information that when you're giving your fellow musicians, studio musicians, an idea what you want them to do is 1, give the tempo for the song, 2, the key, what kind of feel you want. Is it a swing, a waltz, whatever? And then you always got to leave room for the count in, right? And you want to record, you always want to stripe your a click track all the way through the tune. And then you sort of list the bars. I know this requires mathematics, which for some of us is a challenge of counting, but you got to count the bars. And so like bars 1 and 2 are count in, bars 3 and 8 in this case are intro, and who's playing the intro? Well, we're going to have the sax noodle. And then bar 11 is where the melody starts. The A vocals come in. Bar 19, A repeats. Bar 27, the B section comes in, and then the trumpet does fills with a harmon mute. So you sort of give all the way down through the form, you give directions as to who's like playing where. And in the solo sections right up front, I think we're past the point, unless you're co-collaborating with somebody else, of deciding who's going to solo where. You should make the decision as a producer with your co-producer, who's soloing where and what you want the tune to be. Don't you agree, Nick? It really just helps everybody else out to know where they need to play or where they need to not to play, right? And then, you know, where the melody comes back in, the form and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah. I would add, you know, just that if you're making a chart in Finale or Sibelius or MuseScore or whatever, that when you make your chart match the bar numbers in your session, that can be really, really handy. And that's what that's, you know, that book I shared, that Gary Lindsay book, that was like his thing. Like every project that you did with him, your Sibelius score, Finale score, or whatever, he never had like, you know how like in some big band charts, they have like, they do sections by letter, like A, B, C, etc. You go through the chart. He just said always had you do every double bar line had a bar number on it. And the bar number was aligned to the bar number in the session. And that was just like a really bulletproof system for when we get in and we'd be recording things in the studio, you know, recording live and stuff. If we wanted to tell the engineer to roll from such and such a place or whatever, you got your chart and you got your bar number in the session aligned. You can say, okay, cool, give me a punch in from 13, and everybody knows exactly where that is in the chart, you know. So that's some, you know, obviously right now we're all recording by ourselves and we can kind of push things around, you know, but when you're doing like live sessions with a lot of different musicians and everybody's got paper on their music stand, what John's talking about with the bar numbers there, you unite that with your session and your notation software before you print paper for people and stuff, and that makes you a smooth machine when you get in to go start recording stuff.
Yeah, that just makes things go ever so fast. And you know, when somebody has to refer back to something later on, it makes it really easy. Also, too, in every one of your DAWs, there's a place to make notes in Logic. There's a place to make notes in my Digital Performer. I know there's a place to make notes in the Studio 5. Always make notes on your tune as to where you're at with the tune in each session. So if today you added like drums and bass, write it down, you know, and start out again at the top of that on your notes with writing the tempo, the key, the feel that you want, and then you can write the form, but then, you know, also do on a daily basis or whenever you do your sessions, write in what you did that day, and then also have a to-do list, like what else you need to put on there, you know, like a workflow kind of thing. Because that way it's right with you at the session. When you open up your session, you go, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that, right? And it sort of keeps things in an orderly fashion. Has anybody been doing that, you know, with your DAWs? I know I do it with all my projects.
I'm a caveman. I still have a notebook and a pencil. Yeah. But I keep that by there. If I do a bunch of takes, on a vocal or something, and I did like 22 takes, I want to make notes as I go. Like 17 was pretty good, you know. Might want to use 17 and harvest a couple of phrases from a different one or something, you know. But you know, I want to not have to fish through everything to go back and find what I thought was, you know, pretty on point if I'm going to continue to layer and try.
Logic has that like a note section on the right that you can drop in like some just written notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to do. Whether you do it like Nick saying, you know, have a notebook. I mean, I've done that before too, but I just find my notebooks get lost.
John, I wanted to ask real quick. Did Peter get the Zoom link to his 2 email addresses?
I don't know. I didn't send him that. I will send him that right now.
Yeah, so he's got P Temnov and then RPT. Let me figure out what that other one is. I just wanted to make sure that he is primed and ready to dive in with us here. So,
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here. Okay.
oh, RPV at GCI.
I mistakenly muted all you guys. Unmute yourselves. Sorry about that. All right, I'll contact Peter right now. The only other thing I saw, Jason, you did a mix on Tune 88. I would encourage other people to submit a mix on Tune 88. We pretty much have all the parts. Noah, did you do your bass part for Tune 88? Noah, you there? I have you muted. Unmute yourself. This is like NASA command to the spaceship. I'll ask him to unmute. Okay, so I'll send that to Peter. Nick, do you have any other items you want to bring up here before Peter?
Nope. I'm excited to be a student today. I ran a little test drive with Peter. Super exciting. His knowledge is super deep. I'm really excited to be on student mode today, and looking forward to listening to somebody's mix right now too.
Yeah, I was saying that we should also listen to either Tyler or Noah's mix. Tyler, are you ready to play your mix on either the Groove Merchant or Wave for us?
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, let's hear that.
It's really bare.
And let's see what we got cooking. Which one do you want to do?
Groove Merchant.
Okay. And maybe you could share your screen with us too and show us your DAW and what you're doing if you can.
Oh, no, I am the one typing. I'm eating chips.
Alright, it's gonna be a little bit live is slow.
Okay, I sent him the stuff here. I also texted him, Nick. Anybody else has got any questions or about anything while Tyler's getting himself set up there?
I'm muted. Okay. By the way, guys, one of the things that Peter's going to do is there's a little platform called Audio Movers, and he's going to share his sound through that. So what he's going to do is he's going to be putting a little link in the chat box, and you're going to click on it, and it's going to open in your browser, and that's going to let you hear off of his DAW, supposedly in a little bit better resolution and with less artifacts than Zoom. So just wanted to hip you guys to that. At some point you're going to want to have your chat box open there because he's going to put that up.
So, hey, Roger, how are you coming on your tune? Your original thing.
Made some of the edits when you would email me a couple weeks ago. I have to say that I'm hanging on for dear life in terms of any kind of music.
Yeah, too busy with your family and job.
Yeah, my wife's out of town these 2 weeks, last week and this week, and then it's just we have a lot of people out at work for COVID. Like, every day there's a dozen people or whatever, that key people that are out on quarantine or whatever. So I would like to work on it and get that finished.
Well, no big rush. No big rush. Hey, here's an interesting thing that you guys might, I told Nick about this already, but I want to put this into the pipeline. I applied for one of those COVID-19 arts and culture relief grants for the AJW, and I got it for $10,000.
Nice.
And they're supposedly going to disperse the funds this week at some point in time. So what I was thinking of doing, and I'd run this past you, I already ran it past Nick and Valerie, is in January, I just ended up talking with the videographer and Lucy Peckham, the audio engineer, and Peter's in on this. And what I'd like to do is set up 4 to 5 45 to 50-minute concert sets and record them, if I can, over at UAA, either in the Black Box Theater or in the main stage theater, because we can do lighting there and it'd be sort of fun. And I thought we'd do a mix of, we could do this different ways. I would like to do sort of a couple of different faculty ensembles. And if there was any student ensembles that were interested in putting out a set, it would be like 7 songs to record you guys too. So we'd have audio and video of it. We would do it all in one day. We're looking at right now, one potential date would be Saturday or Sunday, either January 16th or 17th. And we would start at 11 a.m. and go, do the recording till 6. So what we would do is we do at 11 to 12 o'clock, record the first band, take a half-hour break to sanitize everything, and then record the second band from 12:30 to 1:30. Half-hour break. Third band 2 to 3. Half-hour break. Fourth, next band 3:30 to 4:30. Half-hour break, and the last band from 5 to 6. Would you guys have any interest in doing that? We would, of course, socially distance. Wear masks and stuff like that. And we would probably have to have, a rehearsal or 2 before that, maybe over there at a socially distanced thing too. And I'm not forcing the issue. I'm just putting that out there in front of it. It's an opportunity. And then the idea is that the grant would pay for the audio engineer, the video engineer. It would pay the musicians for their time. So I'm not asking you to do this for free. And then what we would do is we would have a virtual concert once a month, like starting in January, February, March, April, May. And then we would take those concerts and have either like a donation tip jar that we would, people came in, whether we said it was mandatory to pay $5 or $10 or just leave a tip jar for the food bank of Alaska to sort of reinvigorate Ray Booker's Jazz Fighting Hunger concerts. So it'd be a way to give back to the community and, and mental health for you musicians, mental health for all the workers on the project, plus all the people we would play for virtually. And then, any money we raise, we could give to the food bank. What do you think of that idea? Feedback?
So John, so you're saying we would be playing live. We would be playing live in an enclosed space.
Yes, you'd be playing live, socially distanced. You know the black box over there in the arts building,
Yeah,
or the
I do.
or the.
So are
main
you
stage?
planning to have another class like this one next semester too?
Well, that was the next question. I'm gonna poll all you guys and see if you guys are interested in continuing this on in
I
the
would be
spring.
far more interested in continuing this on than in playing in any sort of live situation until the COVID counts start going down.
Okay, that's a valid thing. Sure.
I feel cautiously optimistic that we might be looking at a rather different social dynamic in March than we are presently. But I mean, who knows? Presently, I believe that the people that I share my bubble with would be probably pretty staunchly against me going to a couple of rehearsals and a performance, even if it was distanced. Like, for me right now, I'd be like, yeah, I'm game. But I think some of the people that I cohabitate with would probably be a little bit anti, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'd probably be all right myself, but it's not going to fly in my household.
Yeah, well, here's another concept too. There's no time limit on this, on using
Right.
the funds. So it could be we could wait until this vaccine thing, like we see what happens with the vaccine, and then we could, if people start getting vaccinated, everybody feels better. We could schedule a time in the spring at some point in time to actually do the, the on the ground recording and that kind of thing. To do it. That would be one option if we wanted to do it live. I think that, with the nature of this stuff, with jazz and improv, it's nice to play somewhat in person, or at least have the rhythm section play in person, and then the other guys can overdub their parts on top, And Peter, you're taking over there.
Oh, already.
okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's like 10:30 almost. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can. Anyways,
Okay,
so
good.
that's something to consider. I'm open to, I just wanted to let you know that that's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
If we did a class next semester, who would be interested in continuing? Monica says she is. And anybody else? Well, I know Nick is.
Yeah, I know we got to move on to our guest here. Maybe we can talk about it another time. Like, I really want to play, and maybe there's some way to use the funds, or you get enough. I don't know the black box, but if there's a big enough space, or I'd have to think about it. But I'm really struggling with Zoom. I'm on Zoom all day. It's really hard for me to get motivated for it. I mean, I know that's everybody's situation, but if there was some creative thing we could brainstorm to get us playing more, yeah, I don't have the answer right now. But.
John, you could do far worse, as far as I'm concerned, than just repeat this class, because there's enough stuff that's new, at least to me, that doing it over again, I might actually learn something.
Well, it'd be a continuation. We keep going over the same stuff, but we'd add some more stuff on top. Nick and Peter and me, we're all a wealth of more information. And of course, Nick, you let him loose in the library, lynda.com, he's going to go nuts and tell you all sorts of other stuff.
Bless you.
Okay, well, I think we better let Peter Ratner get on with it. And Peter, maybe you'd want to introduce yourself as far as to the rest of the people, because I know you don't know everybody, and tell them what your focus is around town here, and what your background is, so they have a little appreciation for what you do.
Sounds great. Thank you, John, and thank you guys for having me here. It's kind of unusual for me. Usually I'm sitting here in my room, nobody's talking to me, nobody's listening to me, and I am listening to somebody else's music. So I am audio engineer here in Alaska. I've been audio engineer for more than 30 years. I started in Russia. First, of course, I was a musician. I played saxophone in a band, played in different kinds of bands, electronics, jazz, rock, big bands. And I opened my own studio in 1988. And since that moment, that's the most like important thing for me to do. I also do IT stuff like for different companies, but audio engineering is the most like interesting field, and this is a field where I feel very comfortable. I've been working with local musicians here in Alaska since 2007. I had a break, maybe 7 years in my engineering career, but I worked with pretty much all jazz musicians, I would say, and most classical musicians. And in somewhere around 2010, 11, I started working with independent bands. I'm a member of Grammy, which I don't like today, and I'm a member of Audio Engineering Society. So I have contacts and very good connection in industry, know some very nice people. When Nick asked me about this webinar, he asked actually, this is the topic that is very close to me. I have a bunch of reverb devices here in my studio, and also I was always very interested in creating the space in audio mix. It was one of the best things for me to do. So when he asked me about that, I kind of thought about it. I created I would say not too long presentation, still it takes time. You can feel free, tell me any moment to talk about it and just start presenting some examples. I would be very happy to do so. So I guess most of you guys, besides playing instruments, probably try to record on your own and you have some experience in that. So when you record, and after your recording is completed, you should remember that we are kind of creating illusion, and it's not exactly how it happens in the real life, but we use space options to create an additional dimensions in your mix. So type of space that most people use in their mixes, it's natural spaces that you can get with recording, let's say drums, rooms, halls, chambers, analog digital devices, and plugins. So let's say you decided to record a song. So you have a guitar, you have a microphone, interface, and DAW. It could be Pro Tools, Cubase, Studio One, doesn't matter. And when you record all of that, when you have everything ready, you start working on your mix, and song was recorded. So first thing to do, at least in my experience, how I would do that, and I know many good engineers do the same way, you clean up your recording, removing noises, editing parts, sometimes tuning some out of tune notes that like stray, and you want to keep them because of the feel of the song, but they're a little bit out of tune, so you work on that. Then you apply EQ, compression if needed on separate instrument, and the most important, you have to do it on a whole mix as well. So then when it's all ready, you will start add space. And adding space, you can use your own room, you can use plugins, you can use devices. When it's done, you will go and bounce or render your mix. And before we go and start talking about that in a mix, let's define what the reverberation pretty much is. Wikipedia defines it as persistence of the sound after the sound is produced. So basically, when original source disappeared, you have something after sound, some kind of after sound that's hanging in there. For me, I would like to define it as a sound that persists after the original sound is produced. But still, I mean, the idea is the same. You have something that going on and is hearing, you can hear it after the source sound is gone. So we're going to talk about reverberations and echoes, and the difference between reverb and echoes, besides that they extend the sound in time, but they are very different. Echoes are discrete repeats of the original sound. Pretty much you can record one click like this and repeat it several times, and when it will go like ta 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 ta, it will be your sound, it will be your echo or delay, you can call it sometimes, but echo actually is a series of delays. And another reverberation is more a smear diffused one body sound, where in which you individual repeats you won't hearing separately. It could consist of thousands of individuals echoes closely spaced together, and there is no gaps in the sound that you can hear. Before we go further, I want to talk about some like not scientific, but a very important term that called RT60. And RT, it's reverberation time, 60 dB. In dB, decibels, we measure the loudness of the sound. So when we talked about 60 dB, decibels range, we're pretty much talking about loudest, loudest sound and most quietest sound on your reverb. And the way it goes down, so it's time that will pass since you hear the most loudest, and when you go to the sound that you pretty much cannot hear. Why it's important to be familiar with this term RT60? It's used on almost all reverberation systems, and you will hear it. You can hear, see that in some plugins on some devices. You should remember also that acoustic spaces typically have different RT60 rates for different frequencies. So all humankind history with reverb started like long time ago, when people started building churches and cathedrals. And the material they used, mostly stone, and the volume, space, size of the things, they created a massive RT 60 times reverb. So 6 to 9 seconds of after sound of reverb sound was common, and some huge cathedrals, they had like 20 seconds. And if you're talking about Taj Mahal, you can go for like, I don't know, 30 easily. So if you remember, all medieval monks chants in the churches, they evolved as a way to communicate ideas, because they couldn't, there wasn't any other way for people just to present their ideas in words, because everything was smeared and notes were overlapped with each other, and you won't be able to hear a fast musical passage because it will turn into blur. So it was like hanging, never stopping sounds enveloping you in a big churches and cathedrals, and music had to be slow and deliberate in those environments. So going to 17th, 18th centuries, we go into chamber music. Let's say, remember Mozart, that was played mostly in large rooms, and they weren't not as large as like concert halls that we're gonna talk about a little bit later. And reverb time of those rooms was usually not that long, 1.5 seconds. So long enough to increase the spatial perception and give you a space and dimensions, feel of dimension, but not as long as to blur the notes together in a faster musical phrases. So in concert halls, that was built on purpose. People started building them on purpose, like I think like 19th century is pretty much where it took off. And concert halls are involved in tandem with symphony orchestra pretty much. And those halls were built especially for music performances of big orchestras. And spaces resulted in those reverb times were around 1.7, 2.5, sometimes more, sometimes less. And one very important thing about reverb time at the low frequency was that they can be half as long as a higher frequency. Why it's important? We talked about it a little bit later. And longer bass reverb, it was creating a very special and high perception of spaciousness and envelopment. Of course, when people started making recordings, first they recorded in rooms, and they had a special people, funny to say, let's say when a lot of people were recording an orchestra in a small room just with one microphone, they had a special person that stayed between a microphone and the singer. And this person was moving singer back and forth. Sometimes it was a special device on wheels that like going a cart, because on the higher notes, the singer could overwhelm the system. And orchestra actually was moving also in those small rooms. They were going literally running to the microphone and then running back from the microphone. It's very funny to see that, but it's like a real thing that was happening. When people started using multi-track recording, they started using more dead spaces to avoid additional color of the sound. And when they started using more dead spaces and they started getting better signal, suddenly they started lacking those space and they needed to get it back somehow. So the first idea about artificial reverbs, artificial reverbs, my mistake. It was echo chambers. You can turn any room in your house in echo chamber. Bathroom is one of very good examples. So basically you send a signal to speaker, put this speaker somewhere in your basement, get the signal back to your console and mix it together with an original sound, and you have this feel of space that you kind of can add on your own without using like a big room. So you pretty much can control how much reverb you can add it. And today I will show you how it was done on a very good recordings. So bathroom worked well because of the tiles. One of very good example of, let's say, concrete stairwells was the famous sound of John Bonham, Led Zeppelin drums. So they used actually a very long, not Columbia Records stairwell. They rented a special mansion in like England. So they put a microphone on the top or on middle floor and below, and they recorded drums there. And recording and mixing engineers, they had a choice what sound to implement, what sound to add. So, but yeah, you better build something specially for this and have a specifically built studios to use for your ecosystem. So here we go. There is an example of echo chambers. On the right side is Sunset Boulevard echo chamber. And on the left side with RCA ribbon microphones, you can see how it works. Pretty much mono microphone, full-size acoustic system that will reproduce pretty much a whole spectrum of the sound. And it was fed back to the mixing console, and engineer could edit or remove it and do whatever he wants. Echo chamber characteristics was like fairly high early echo density. Are you still guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So reverb time 60 falls above 2 kilohertz because due of absorption of high frequencies by air. But the thing with RT60 for concrete chambers also would be a very high at base frequency. Funny thing is, there was a studio in town here, Busby Studio, Bizbus Studio, I don't remember exactly. So the guy was very proud that he built his studio as a bunker. And he called me, I came here to his studio, and he asked me, what do you think about that? And it was nicely equipped stuff. And I told him, you cannot record here. He said, why? Because you have standing waves, and all bass frequency would be accumulated here. And he couldn't get it. Why it's going to happen? So anyway, that's one of the downsides of working with echo chambers. We're going to go to the plate reverbs for a second that were introduced in 1957. And a whole idea was to use a thin cold rolled steel plate suspended on a steel frame. And the driver coil was used to create a bending waves in this plate. So this is how it's used, looked like. You can see that in the middle, there is a input driver, and there is a left channel pickup and right channel pickup. On the left, it's a better picture, but it's the same idea. In the center, you have a driver that will drive this huge steel plate, and it will create all those movement and pickups where they were positioned, if you notice, on a little bit different distance. They would get a different signal, and it will recreating back a feel of space. That's how it was built originally. So with plate reverbs, first thing was dispersion. Sound moves faster for high frequencies. Some plates have audible whip crack, and I can show you today how it sounds. And also dispersion affected the stereo imaging, and left and right pickups, because of the different distances, they created a different perception of the depth. So with this, I think we can go to sound examples. If you guys ready. So I just wanted to ask you if you guys on speakers.
No, just
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay, good. So you will be able to hear it. Like, I just want to be sure that you will be able to hear it. So let me remove this screen. For some reason, okay. Oh, it's a calibration microphone. Okay. I'm gonna share in a different screen now. Okay, let me find me. Okay. Okay, you for some reason, give me a moment. Oh, I see that. Okay. Ta-da-da. Okay, I think, okay. So now you can see my screen and I will put my other headphones or I won't be able to hear myself. Okay, first of all, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can everybody hear him?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Nick, say something for me. Hello?
Nick?
Yeah, hold on. Unmuting myself there. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm trying to connect it. Give me a moment. Two. Okay, all good.
Yeah.
Okay, I did it. I made it. Okay, here is a recording that Nick sent me. And here is all our devices that you will see in a moment. Let's listen first what we have here.
Can you turn the volume up? I can't hardly hear it.
Oh, guys, sorry. The most important part, I just didn't do it yet.
You didn't give us the link to the sound.
Yeah, I did. I'm gonna send you a link right now that you will be able to hear in a second. So I'm gonna put it in a chat room.
Okay.
And all you have to do, click on the link and start listening.
Okay, but when you got your screen shared, all we can see is your screen share. Well, actually, I can see. Let me see if I can see my chat.
If you
Okay.
click,
Yeah, you can see your chat.
if you click
Okay.
your chat box, it'll come up as a float right now.
Yeah, I got it.
Is the screen shared? Pow.
Did you get it?
Got it.
So guys, just click on it and let's check it out that it's working for you.
Oh, I hear it. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
everybody
hear it. I
can
can
hear it.
too. Yeah, I can hear it with audio movers.
Yes. Monica, Roger, you guys hear it?
I did hear it for a minute and then you stopped it, right?
Yeah, I stopped it. I will control it, but yeah.
Yep.
I thought I
All
heard
right.
it through Nick, but I'm not sure I'm hearing it myself.
You have to click on the link.
I did.
Okay. So you're good, Monica, right?
I'm good.
Okay, so this is what Nick sent me, and what we're hearing right now, it's just let me put it in. It's just a dry recording, and you can see tracks here. It's not completely dry, but it is as dry as it could be. So let's say we talked about room, and we talked about plates, and we talked about chambers. So let's try to add a chamber. And this is the reverb that we use. It's a live chamber. It's not, see, it's a reverb type. Remember T60, it's 1.4. It has a Q. We can use a Q here, change it. We can change the mix. We can make reverb time far, like less, longer, shorter, but let's stick with the original sound for now.
So with the dampening, you can control which frequencies that you have reverb to, is what you're
No,
saying?
right now we cannot, on this one, we cannot control. It's a very simple one, but it's very good to present.
So
Nick was,
what parameter is the Q affecting on this one?
oh, EQ is affecting just low frequencies here.
I got you. I got you. You said EQ. I thought you said Q, as in like the shape.
Oh no,
of
EQ, and so we can do this. You can hear this after sound we talked about. Dry, reverb. And this actually, it's very interesting. This is an example of so-called Abbey Road trick. On Abbey Road, they didn't like to have a full-size reverb, like with all frequencies on like this. So they came up with the idea to use just that kind of sound. And basically, you still can hear the reverb, but it's not in a way for all other instruments or all other frequencies.
So you want to use the reverb where you can hear it the most on a particular instrument.
Well, actually, it's the same like with arrangement. You want to use reverb on natural ranges of instruments where it's the most naturally sounding continuation of the original sound. So if you can, as effect, you can emphasize it here. Look. Do you hear highs? But if we remove this, it's more natural, but it's still here. And it creates this dimension that you need. So this is a very good example of chamber. But how about we're gonna go and listen to just a room? Dry. Room sound. And when we are talking about the room sound, and it's a small room here, you can see that it's 1.1 second. So most of the reverbs devices, I mean, not natural, the way they designed, they use two parameters, important parameters: early reflections that you can see here, and late or tail that you can see here. So a difference.
So is anybody else not able to hear?
Yeah, I can't really hear. I can't hear it. If I click
We
on,
can't hear it at all.
if I
Yeah.
click on the other thing, your screen goes away, Peter. And if I click on that, if I want to see your screen, then I can't see the other thing.
Oh, you don't see reverb?
No, I see the reverb right now. I've clicked on that screen, but when I try to listen to it, I don't hear it. I don't hear anything when I'm clicked on this, but then when I click your link on the chat thing, I go to that, but I can't see the screen, your reverb.
Oh,
I think the solution that you might need is to I don't know if people are looking at one screen or if anybody's looking has additional monitors, but you might need to resize your stuff so that they're both visible on your desktop at the same time, so that you can have your browser is at the top level of your computer and you'll be hearing the sound off of audio movers, but that you'll still be able to look at Peter's thing. And you could make the maybe we need to take a second for people to do this, but size your web browser super small and just have it like somewhere on your desktop, right? And then have the Zoom screen share a lot larger so that you can see it in good definition, but that you can go click over on audio movers so that you're looking at Peter's thing, taking up most of your computer monitor or your screen or whatever you're looking at, but that the top level is the audio mover, so that's what's feeding audio to your computer.
yeah.
Why don't we give everybody a moment to do that? Then hopefully you'll all be able to watch and listen currently.
Yeah, because I'm here on two screens, but do that like Nick told you, and let's see what's gonna happen.
Also, I don't know if this is the issue or not, but I'm using Chrome for this because it popped up a warning in Safari, and Chrome seems to be working fine in the background. I have it minimized and can hear it just fine.
Yeah, likewise. I'm on Chrome.
I am on Chrome too. So let's try. So you guys, can you hear it, John?
No, I haven't figured out how to make the screen smaller.
I just heard it again.
I heard it, but then it went away again.
Yeah, I think Peter stopped it. I think he was just testing. But
No, I stopped it a second.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I can.
John, you might actually need to. We might actually need to stop the screen share for a second for you to size your Zoom window down. Possibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try doing that.
But also, yeah.
I stopped that.
You also have a thing. You might try, but there's a thing on Zoom here that says move focus to next window under your window options. And there's like enter full screen. There's enter minimal view. If you go to Zoom meeting, you can enter minimal view. Well, that's very small. Exit minimal view. Yeah, that's probably not the ticket. But right now, with this as it is, you can maybe size your Zoom window down so you
Let's
can
try. Okay, well, I sized the Zoom window down, so let's try screen sharing now.
Yeah, if Peter screen shares it, is it going to go back to taking up your whole screen? Is my question.
Yeah, try screen sharing again, Peter. Yeah, it takes up the whole screen.
Right. Okay, but now go up to meeting and go to exit full screen. Now you can do it. Right.
Where do you see?
So go to the top left, and you should see Zoom.us. Right, and then right next to that, there's meeting, and then there's enter full screen, or exit full screen. Right. So when he screen shares, it automatically takes you into full screen. And then if you go to your top bar there for the Zoom application and you go to meeting, you can click exit full screen. Now you have something that's not taking up your whole screen. Now you can size it.
I think you can hit escape too. Escape on the keyboard should kick you out of full screen.
Oh yeah.
Hey, now I can hear it.
Yep.
Yeah. absolutely. Problem solving.
Here now.
Thing is, I stopped screen sharing.
Well, go back to screen sharing. It was okay. I was doing okay with it.
Okay. Are you okay, John?
Yeah, I can see the two things here.
Can you hear it?
I've got it up here. Let's see. It says it's connected. There I can, now I can.
Other guys?
Yeah, can hear it.
Yep.
Okay.
Good, man.
Okay then. So now we're here in the room. So let's listen with room and no room. This is a dry sound. And if we're gonna go, and I will go and check out different effects here that I have. We will go through whole plate. I have Bricasti M7 here's hardware, and I have a Big Sky room. So you will hear all different reverbs, and then we're gonna go and talk more about how we're gonna work with that and parameters. But right now, just an example. This is hall. This is plate. This is room. So that was Bricasti medium hall, very natural effect. Let's go to rooms for a second and see what's going on inside. So what you see here, it's early reflections. You have a bunch of early reflections as soon as you start playing in any room. And mostly it's a scattered sounds, reflections from the nearest walls, any kind of surfaces. Even if it's like velvet chair or something, still there is some kind of reflection. So for the small room, it sounds like that. And I'll give you more here. Now, if we want more after sound or tail, we can do this. But main, like it's all possibilities that you can edit your original sound. And this effect, Reverberate 3, what it does, it uses impulse responses. Like, I don't know, you can literally go to any space and record this space, and with special technology, you can then replicate or reproduce this space in a plugin format. And also we had like digital devices that were doing it, but mostly this is what we have. So what options we have here with this reverb? What can we do? We can modulate it. We can, if we go here in shape, we can create a pre-delay, and we can move a whole reverb on a side. And pre-delay is mostly used when you want to hear original sound, a starting point, attack intact, like it's supposed to be.
Right.
And in this case, you will go for pre-delay, and then you will have a nice space enveloping your original sound. So probably 11 in this case is or 13, it's a good scenario. In plugins, you can make it wider. Or you can go to mono. So there are so many options you can do with effects. So my question.
Here's a question for you. Why would you want to use one reverb that as opposed to another? Because a lot of these DAWs have a lot of different reverb plugins.
Okay, good question. Let's go, and I have to open something. You won't see that, but give me a moment. Okay. So sometimes you want, in jazz, let's say, you want to have something intimate or something intermediate, like immediate sound of bass, but you also want to have a vocal to have this like aura or something enveloping that. And this is a good example to listen. Can you hear it, guys?
No, I still can't hear it.
You cannot hear it?
No, I can't hear it. I couldn't hear any of your other stuff too. I've got the audio movers thing up here, but I still can't hear
Same
it.
for me. I can't hear anything, Peter.
Uh-oh.
I'm here.
I'm on Safari.
Uh-huh.
Nick, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm hearing the track that you're playing through the plugin there, through the adapter plugin.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, that's interesting, because if you can hear it and you're on Chrome, John, are you on Chrome?
No,
No.
I'm on Safari.
yeah.
Do you have a Chrome?
I do, but then I'd have to sign out of this whole session and sign back on.
I'm on Chrome and I still can't hear it.
Yeah,
Maybe
my audio mover says I'm connected, but there's nothing that comes in on the streaming channel. It says streaming channel 1 and 2.
so.
Now I hear a little bit something in the background, and I got my volume turned up.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, when is your streaming channel, like, do you see the bars? Do you see the visual representation?
It says streaming channel 1 and 2, and it says listen to, and then the microphone thing is all the way up, and there's nothing coming through to it.
Right. When Peter plays music, do you see the audio bars flickering? Do you see the green audio bars, like, indicating the sound source?
Nothing on audio movers. I see it on the desktop screen on his DAW.
Huh.
Right. But audio movers.
Can we just listen to it through your DAW?
That's exactly what we are listening through my DAW.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the past when we've done this, like for instance, if I share sound, when you go on to streaming, there's a box you click in the bottom left side of share the screen, and we can just hear. If you just play your DAW, we can hear it.
Okay, let me try that, because we are on listen 2, and I will try to do it on my DAW. So
Yeah. So Peter, what you need to do that, if I don't know if you've done this before, but you need to go. First of all, you need to go in Zoom.
I am on Zoom.
You go to Zoom. You go to your audio preferences, and oh, actually, no, never mind. Let's do this in a different order. Go to Cubase, and for your audio output, make Zoom. Actually, I'm sorry. So you need to do this in this order. You need to stop your screen share.
Okay.
Temporarily stop your screen share. Redo your screen share, and when you go to share your screen, go and click the little box in the bottom left of the screen share window that says share computer audio.
Well, I did. Let's try it again.
And when you do that, now you should get an option in Cubase that lets you select Zoom audio device as your output. Hopefully. When you go to select your audio output, does Zoom
not really actually, but
Zoom didn't pop up as a
no,
as an option for where you're sending.
Okay, you know, we can do that. I don't really care if you guys can see that. Can I stop to share the screen? But be sure that you have audio movers working, because for me, it's important that you hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. Now I can hear it.
Okay, so let's hear the sound. Bass sound that you can hear is recorded in a room. But when you hear a singer entering, she will be sounding with a chamber effect. Listen.
Love riding and drove the shadows away. Love riding and brought my sunniest day.
So can you hear this space on a vocal?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And can you hear the bass is still in the front of you? And this is exactly an example where you use a different reverbs. So on bass, you use just a chamber. Oh, I mean, just a room reverb. And on your vocal, you used just a chamber. Oh.
Yeah, she sounds like she's all around the room wrapping around the bass.
Yeah. Now, here is another example. So which effect is used here? What do you think, guys?
Sounds like a hall or...
Yep.
I don't hear anything yet.
Oh. Why not?
I don't know. I could hear the last one. There
John, can you hear?
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Monica, can you hear anything?
You didn't hear anything?
I heard great silence.
Haha. Why? I cannot. I mean, it's the same plugin. We use the same. Did you move anything? I saw your screen disappeared for a second.
I didn't do anything.
Do you have audio movers like on your browser? Is that like the top level of your computer right now, or are you clicked over to a different application?
Oh, I've got audio movers is the top thing. I mean, I'm showing both that on my desktop and the
Okay, guys.
I have a theory, real quick. I think there could be a difference between the sound that is coming from Zoom and the audio movers is coming from the internal audio of your computer because it's in a browser. and both of those need to be routed to your speakers, right? So I think right now, like whatever your playback system is only playing back Zoom, but it is not playing back the audio from your computer. So for example, if you played iTunes right now or something right now, you wouldn't hear that either, because Zoom is occupying your, you know, like the only thing playing out of your home listen back system is Zoom. That is
guys, Nick, can I offer something? Let's not to talk about this technical stuff. Let's go back to the share screen. I have a bunch of examples that we don't need that part.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Nick.
So as you remember, going back, guys, I'm gonna share the screen again.
Okay.
And just be sure that you hear audio movers. So we're back here. Can you hear it?
Nope.
John?
I can't hear anything. Now I can.
Can you?
I could there. Now I can't.
Okay, good.
Again. Do you have anything? You don't have anything playing yet.
Right.
So that's fine. Let's move forward. So this is with these tracks, and I told Nick about that. I cleaned up those tracks specifically to make it drier. But if we go to original Nick recording without any effects that I used here, it's all down. That's original recording. And you can clearly hear the original room sound of Nick's room. And this is how most of the great recordings were made. And absence of, like, if you even don't have a dry sound, it's still good and it's still filled in. Let's go to another example before it's gonna be like 2. It's John, it's for you. I know you should like it. I hope you will.
But if I can hear it, I still can't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not playing it yet. I am just setting it up. Okie dokie. Can you hear it?
Nope. Not with the audio movers.
John, try something. You're on a Mac, right?
Yep.
Go to your system preferences and go to to sound.
Yeah, yeah.
And see what is, you know, the output for like your computer.
Yeah, my output is my headphone port, which I got plugged into my PA system.
Guys,
Yeah.
let me resend audio movers.
Yeah, let's try that too. Maybe we refresh the audio movers. Pop up your chat box and get ready to click on it a second time. Let's see if we do
Yep.
better.
So I am sending in chat a new link.
All right, I see it. I'm clicking on it.
That would be the top one or the bottom one?
The top one.
Bottom one.
What? Oh, okay.
There is 2, so don't use the first one. Use the second one.
Okay, I clicked on that. It came up.
Okay.
Listening.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
Nick, can you hear a whole sound?
Yeah, I hear the drums. Yeah.
I can hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So John, it's you. It's only you. I don't understand.
No, I can hear it. Go ahead, play.
No, I can hear it out of both. I can hear it out of audio movers and Zoom right now, which I think is maybe part of the confusion.
Interesting. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about reverb. So this is a drum plugin. And let's remove the room and just listen to dry drums. Now we're gonna add overheads. And if you know, guys, most of the sound of real live drums usually comes from overheads like that. It's overheads only.
And so that gives you more of a room sound?
Yeah, they actually give you a real, if you remove that
Gives you
and
more
listen just to,
sound.
so this is dry sound of kick, snare, and head, nothing else. As dry as you will record it in a studio. But the feel of the drums and space first come from overhead. Can you hear it?
Yeah, it gives it more air.
Second part, usually a room. So overheads, you can see microphones is like overhead, over the toms. And here is a room, like far away with this configuration. And it has a little bit of compression on it. And it adds the feel of, hear that?
Take it off and then put it back on.
That's room only. Dry drums, room. Overhead. But it's not all. We also have effects we can add.
Okay, well, hey, before you do that, go back over to your left side of your screen there, where you're doing room. Explain that room picture. Those mics are facing sideways. Where's the front of the room?
So this is the back of the room, and drums supposed to be here.
The drums are over off to the right of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. And the mics are facing towards the walls of the room.
No. Mike's facing this, and it's coincidental. So the way you do that, you can do it like in horizontal, but this way you take from two capsules, and you can actually, this one can go 180 to create 80 degrees.
Okay.
To create 90 degrees to create a feel of space. Good question.
Well, I couldn't tell. It looks like a candle, you know, with a candlestick. Where's the front of the mic? I mean, which way is it?
This is, they face us, and drums, like we are drums, and those microphones are facing us.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, okay.
So, and with this system, you can go to snare, let's say you can edit snare only, like just bottom. So it's all very, but we're talking about space and reverb, so let's listen
And
to
this
all of that.
is just a plug-in that comes in Cubase?
No, it's I bought it separately. It
Okay.
has a bunch of everything. But it's very good because you can use compression, EQs, distortion, whatever, and bunch of effects. Listen to effects now. So we have played here. Or you can instead reverb, you can use delay here. So it's very flexible, or you can change this and EQ like this. So all this technology brings you so many choices. It's amazing, but also it's a big danger because you at some moment you have to stop doing this and start doing something more like reasonable. One more example for you guys, where we have multiple effects on the synthesizer. So let's hear if you hear it. Can you hear it, John?
Yeah.
And look here, this area. So we have delay with feedback, we have chorus, and we have a reverb. And if we remove everything, that's all we got. And of course, we can use all those sections like filters, envelopes, and blah, 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 and step designers. But let's add just delay. Reverb. And chorus. Okay. We have like 30 minutes. I wanted to show you something else. So questions right now.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Again, back when my other question you didn't quite answer. You know, like on any of these given DAWs, like my digital performer, they have 6 different types of reverbs that I could use. How do you decide? They all seem like they sort of have the same kinds of things, but
no,
have a different picture. They might have a different set of knobs or something like that. How do you decide which one's better?
First of all, there is physical characteristics of the sound. And first you have to start with how long is the sound.
Okay.
If sound is short, what the goal is? Do you want to emphasize what? So let's say if you have a singer who is singing a long phrase, you want to support her. In this case, you would use whole or maybe delay, but whole with a longer tail. If you have a guitar that's playing like chop, chop, tat, 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 you don't want a long reverb on that. Exactly what we discussed in the presentation, because it will smear the sound. So you will use a very, very short room sound or very short plate just to add some aura around the sound, something very spacious, but not very long that will be staying in the way of the whole sound.
Yeah, you don't want to smear.
Yeah.
So I have
Did
a
I
question.
answer that?
Yeah, that's a good answer. Okay, Monica.
So on the track you just played, the synth track that you just played, was the effects that you applied, is that a separate plugin that's external to your DAW?
No, it's most of the synthesizers, effects, and in this case also drum plugin that I shown, they have internal reverb effects already built in. This one has it built in.
Right, but this is just something that's internal to Cubase.
It's not internal for Cubase. It's internal for this codecs plugin from Waves.
That's my question.
You
Thank you.
You bought the plugin as a separate.
It's a different plugin. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's a different plugin. Something else? Go ahead, guys.
Well, I just to connect John's question to Peter's answer is I think that, like, so let's say you have a few different like in the box reverb plugins that come in your DAW, right?
Right. Yeah.
Peter's saying that I think the real answer to John's question is what's more important is that you are choosing an appropriate reverb size, reverb length to the musical part that you're trying to treat, right? It's more important that you are choosing the right dimensions of reverb for the rhythmic density and the qualities of your musical part than it is necessarily what plugin. But what you might do within your DAW is if you've experimented with some of your plugins a little bit, you might find like, wow, I really like the plates. I really like the short plates in this plugin. You know, they're really good on like an active guitar part. Whereas this plugin, I really like the halls and the cathedrals in this plugin for something that's large and expansive. So you might choose between which one to pull up based on, you know, the poking around that you've done and the algorithms you've found in each one that are specifically useful to different musical contexts.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. Because some of them seem like they do the same thing. It's just like they just have a different look on screen. You know, it just depends on how you like what you.
And you know, I think another factor is like how much, like for example, in Logic, there's the Space Designer, which is very CPU intensive, and you know, so like, you know, you have a certain amount of that, especially if you get into a project where you've got a lot of tracks and a lot of different instrument parts going on. If you try to put like, you know, individual Space Designer on a whole bunch of individual parts, you're going to start running into your CPU limitations and stuff. So another thing that might guide your choices some of the time, depending on your system, is you might say, okay, I'm going to use I don't need to use a super elaborate plugin that has a ton of different parameters that can be adjusted for this specific purpose. I'm just trying to put like a, you know, a tiny little, you know, yeah. So you know, like I allocate, if I have a project with a lot of tracks, I allocate my resources wisely in terms of CPU. I'm not necessarily going to use my my most CPU intensive reverb on every single track there.
Right,
you know.
right.
So guys, just demonstrate how mix can sound with no effects at all and still be very musical and great. I am sharing another link with you. Please start using it, like start transmission and let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
You guys ready? So this is a very famous song, and you will hear it.
Sounds good so far.
Peter, I'm hearing that twice. Is anyone else hearing it twice?
Yeah, I am too.
Anyone else hearing it twice? Is everybody muted? Who needs to be muted? Everybody mute yourself and see if that gets rid of our double.
Double, yeah. Can I continue? So
Peter,
this
I'm still hearing it twice, and I'm wondering if I'm hearing it off of your Zoom and off of Audio Movers slightly distant.
no, thing is, I'm in the headphones. You guys cannot hear me from headphones.
Right, but does your screen share sharing computer audio?
Okay, how about this?
Yeah, redo your screen share, but this time don't share computer audio off of Zoom, and we'll hear it just on Audio Movers, I think. That is my theory.
Can you hear it now? Good?
No, I can't hear it.
I'm still doubled.
Yeah, I can't hear it at all.
It's not me then, because I muted everything I could. Okay, let's redo share screen technology.
I think John was maybe only hearing it on Zoom. I think we were hearing it off of Zoom, and John still wasn't hearing it on Audio Movers. Now we're hearing it on both, perhaps.
So, okay, that's kind of not good.
Well, I tell you what. I don't want to interrupt things and screw up the flow here, but I would like to get some of these student mixes. So I would suggest maybe if Noah or Tyler, I don't even see Tyler. Oh, there's Tyler, is ready to play their mix. Then maybe Nick and Peter and I can give some feedback on your mix. What would you think
Yeah.
of doing that for the last 20 minutes here?
Sounds good.
So Tyler, are you ready to do something, or Noah?
I don't know. My Groove Merchant mix is just super bare. There's like no, I don't think I have a piano or a bass track in there. So
Well, we
That's
noticed
fine.
we noticed that before. We were just gonna, if you share, can you share your screen with us so that we can see it? We're asking, our question was that intentional, or you just hadn't got to putting those other parts on, or you couldn't figure it out yet, or whatever. That's what we just sort of wanted to have you share your process with us. It doesn't make any difference whether you have one part or 6 parts.
yeah, I suppose I could do that. It's gonna take a little while though, because it's really slow on here.
I could do mine if Tyler doesn't want to do his.
Hey, let's do yours, Noah. While Tyler's getting his thing set up. So set yours up,
Okay.
Tyler, but let's do
Yeah.
Noah's and
All
share
set.
your screen with us, would you? And you're doing Groove Merchant, or are you doing Wave?
Hello?
Hey, Noah.
Groove Merchant. Sorry.
Okay, Groove Merchant. You want to make your screen bigger or pick your project so we can see it? I just see the little ones.
I already picked my project.
I can see it
It's
very
on there.
well.
Yeah. How do you share computer audio?
Bottom left side, when you're sharing your screen, it has a box for you to click that says share computer audio.
It keeps saying sharing is paused. So hold on.
Huh.
Try it again. Go out of the share screen and then go back to the share screen again. And before you hit the whole thing, go down to the bottom left side and there should be a box that says share your audio.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Hold on. Wait, it says that I have to like put in a password to share my audio. I don't know what the password is, so I don't think I can do it.
Put in a password, huh?
Yeah, it says to share your computer audio, please install the Zoom audio device.
Here,
Please start your audio
let
sharing.
me see. Let me see here. It says allow participants to share screen. Okay. And as far as password, I don't think we have a password on this one.
Yeah, well, no, it's for like my dad's computer, but
Oh, I see. It's your own
yeah.
particular thing.
Yeah.
No
So,
sharing. No sharing for you.
yeah. Too bad.
You might want.
Okay. Yeah.
You might, well, I saw the whole thing, so you can't just play the sound then.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll go with Tyler.
Alright, yeah, it's getting up.
The other one we could do, Jason did a mix of Tune 88. We could hear that.
Yeah, actually, why don't we do that one? Because I'd rather listen to something I've never really heard before than
Okay.
just share a really basic
Tyler,
mix.
why is yours taking so long? Is it just your computer slow?
Yeah, my computer's really slow and it's been running really hot today, so.
So, hey, Jason, do you want to share your Tune 88 mix with us?
Sure. 1 second.
I think anybody for this coming week, your assignment should be is to like try to mix Tune 88 and get some more tracks done for Cubano Chant. And I'm going to try to do a reference mix for, I could either do it for Roger's thing or I could do it for the Will a Week for Me song. I might do it for Will a Week for Me. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to add an additional assignment to that for anybody who hasn't worked out being able to share their screen. When I was getting ready to do this stuff, I just reached out to a family member or a friend or somebody who'd be patient with me and said like, hey, I need to check and make sure that I'm able to like get audio, you know, that you're able to like see and hear what I'm doing on my end and stuff. So, you know, for those of you who are in class, you know, we're going to be sharing our work more and more from this point going forward. So if you haven't got that dialed yet, like reach out to somebody who, will give you, 20 minutes to half an hour of their time and run a little check. Like, for example, there's that Stephen Bacon's got his like singer-songwriter thing that he does in town. And I'm going to participate in that tomorrow night. And, before I'm going to try to do something with my loop station where I layer up a whole bunch of nicks and try to get that to come across on a Zoom meeting. I'm going to reach out to somebody today to say like, hey, will you be my ears? Like, can you hear everything? Find somebody to do a sound check so that when we're in class and it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's hear your work that you've pre-gamed it a little bit. Monica did that with me. Monica called me up, John or I could be that person or you could be that person for each other. But, Monica called me up when she was figuring out how to get her thing to come across on Zoom. And we spent 20 minutes, making sure that we could do that. So if you haven't done that yet with somebody, I'd like to add that to the assignment list so that, we can be empowered to share our work on class, and not have it slow us down.
Sure. Okay, Jason, let's hear your deal here.
Yeah. So let's, I guess, first of all, make sure everybody can hear it.
I can hear it fine.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Yeah, so this one was kind of interesting. A lot of it centered around Craig's sax is a little bit on the quiet side. So I have his gain sent super high and then kind of pulled everybody back from that. It led to a couple actually kind of, I think, cool creative decisions in the process of all this. So this is going to become an unusual mix, but I don't know, I think it's interesting. Okay. Anyways, so I have everybody who is on uploaded to the Dropbox. I have everybody's audio in there. Only thing I don't have in the mix right now is Noah's bass. I couldn't figure out how to line it up. I put it over here where I think it's lined up. It goes too long at the end. So anyway, so I used Nick's bass line for that. Otherwise, I think I have people more or less lined up. Yeah, so let me play the first intro. so for Roger, I panned him a little bit further to the left, brought the volume a little bit. I think I increased his ambience and reverb. Come there. Yeah, it's got a little more ambient reverb. Minor tweaks to the EQ. Now I have to describe what's going to happen next because it's different.
Okay.
Craig's sax was a little bit on the quiet side, but obviously he sounds amazing. And so what I ended up doing was what's going to happen is automation is going to pull everybody else down, and it's going to increase the reverb probably too much, but it sounds kind of cool. It kind of sounds like he stepped out in front and he's in this crazy auditorium. And anyways, I think it's a neat effect, but it is unusual. So just going to preface it like that. Let me back up just a smidge. And so I don't have a soloist for this section. I'm not sure. I meant to check the song form and see if I'm not sure if that soloist person isn't in here yet or if the order got out of place, but there's no soloing here. So I'll skip ahead to trumpet where I come in.
The order of the solos at Jason should be 24 bars of keys, 24 bars of sax, 24 bars of guitar, and 24 bars of trumpet. Times 2.
Okay.
No, 24 bars is times 2 because the form's 12 bars, right?
Okay. Yeah. I will have to go back and see. Maybe I didn't do 2 sections or I don't know.
One thing you might want to do is use that top, open the arrangement thing on the top of your screen there, which I don't see that you have, and put who's playing when, like I was talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I was doing this based on how everything's already lined up.
No, that's okay.
So, the soloist was by definition what audio I had. But yeah, when I do the recordings, I absolutely do that. And yeah, you're right. I probably should do it for these bounces too. And this part mostly follows the intro in terms of audio levels. I increased just a little bit towards the end here. I like this, where we get into this sync that part at the end.
Any comments from Nick or from Peter?
What I would say, I really like the ending. It's the most important part to end together, but with no jokes, you have to keep an eye on your levels, because if you go up too high, you can start distorting your output, your stereo out. So, and I was looking how you were doing it on a main. Everything else, well, you work with your material and you're trying to get the best of it. But so levels, pay attention to levels first. And if you think it's not loud enough, probably you have to turn the level of your monitors, but try not to go to red on your DAW. That's rule number one. Everything else is adjustable and workable. So if you play in the big, like in the middle, can you play it in the middle? Oh, actually at the end, because it was very prominent at the end, yeah. And look your levels, how your levels go up from here, yeah. You can stop right there. So it's already distorted. And very good rules for all those digital DAWs. Try never be higher than -6 dB. Again, if you think it's not loud enough, turn the level of your monitors, but don't turn the level of your DAW. So that's probably the main comment I would make right now.
Peter, when you say never higher than -6 dB, you mean the individual tracks, right?
No.
Because when they all add up, or the master?
Master.
Never higher than -6. Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you want to have a nice sounding recording, that's like a rule number one. Thing is, with DAW, it's a misconcept. On a channel, don't kill me for this, on a channel you can go to red, as strange as it sounds, because internal structure of any modern workstation, digital audio workstation, has like 64-bit at least architecture. You have incredible dynamic range, like 1444 dB. You never will be able to go up there. But your main process, your main like distortion happens at the first on the plugins if you use it, and on a stereo out. So if you overdone it on separate channels, just be sure that, let's try that. Just, do you have monitors, Jason? Do you have some kind of monitors controller, or how you can control your sound volume?
Oh, by monitor, with that actually
audio speakers.
Yeah, like the output of my computer speakers.
Yeah, can you make it louder?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to pretty loud now.
Okay, so and turn your output, stereo output, just go down right now, and let's see where we're gonna go from this.
So turn down my computer volume.
DAW volume on the top that you were using. Yes, this one. Just go down like -10. Okay, keep it here and play. Stop. So, do you hear that it sounds better, even from the speakers?
Yeah.
So you have to find a way. What speakers do you have right now?
I'm actually listening to my laptop speakers, but I do have external speakers.
Yeah, if better use monitors, like buy cheap JBLs, very cheap ones, put it on. I mean, it's like maximum $200 or even cheaper something, but have independent control on your monitors, and you don't have distortion right now. If you start playing it again and move the stereo output higher, you will start hearing this distorted sound. Try it. Just play it and move it up.
Sure.
That's it. Go down. Stop. So this is the main thing I would recommend you to do. For everybody who is doing audio recording, pay attention to your levels, especially on the stereo bus.
Peter, I have a question.
Okay.
So if my stereo bus is going into the red, should I just globally turn all my tracks down relative to bring that back, you know, back to unity or below, or like maybe to bring it down to -6 dB? Should I just bring all of my tracks that are contributing to that overall signal on the
Do you
stereo
have,
bus?
you supposed, on Logic, you're supposed to have a gain button.
There is.
On a,
Yeah. There's like, you know, they put an extra gain stage there. You have your
yes.
you have your master out, and then you have your stereo out before your master out. So you would say,
so basically, ideally, you want to keep your fader on 0 because it also affects resolution of digital audio. But
Right.
you should have a gain button. So just go down with a gain button. And this way you will avoid distortion on the output. And this
Right.
is the most important with digital audio.
yeah,
There is a huge discussion. There is a, if you know this website, Gear Slots, sorry to say, there is a huge discussion about analog gain, and like with all famous engineers who came from analog console, and I started on analog console. I worked on a huge Yamaha console. I have a picture, like humongous. There is a difference in digital audio. Your 0 is 0. There is no way up. On analog console, 0 means you have plus 24 dB margin. Like you can go up to there because it was built this way. So on digital audio, you never ever could go up except on mastering, but on mixes, don't go up higher than -6, -10, -18, even some people doing -18 dB. And that's considered like conservative. So this is the way to get a good sound from digital.
So, for example, I'm going to steal the screen share for just a moment, if that's okay.
Teeth. Sorry, Jason, he took it.
That was great.
So like I've got this, like, see, I've got this stereo out over here, right? And this master. So like, let's say, for example, I mean, I don't have anything in this session right now because I was actually just showing, using it to illustrate the staff in the lesson yesterday. But like, let's say, like, if my, well, for one thing, my master doesn't even have a meter, right? That master is just like, I can turn the whole thing up. And so that's the gain button. I mean, when you say the gain button, what
so,
is?
On Cubase, I have a gain on every channel. Can you open a channel, just channel itself, and look inside the channel? Can we do that? Or that's
no, at least
so,
not.
okay, give me a sec. Stay there. See, there is input stage, right? Okay, it shows input.
My channel has an input stage and then an output stage.
Okay, I see that. See dB and zeros. Move just, yes. Oh, it's fader. Okay.
But that's the input stage. That's the input stage that I'm adjusting, right? Right now. But I guess the thing is, like, when I'm mixing, like, let's say my stereo fader is going higher than -6, then I mean, should I maybe just select all my tracks and pull them down?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah.
Logic will pull them down proportionately, you know, like to the ratio in ratio to each other.
Yeah.
And then it'll bring my stereo out down to where it says -6.
Yeah.
And then
you can do this too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another way to do this. But on a stereo bus, I know that there is, go to setting on your stereo out, go to setting here. No. Yeah, you just move your, okay. On this channel, go up and there is a setting option. Just move cursor up, yes, up.
Farther up, Nick, farther up. Right there.
Click on it. Okay, let's see what we have.
This just lets you pull in different. This just lets you pull in different plugins, like
Okay, I see that. Okay.
combinations of like sort of cheap, dirty mastering combinations that Logic provides in the box. That's all that's there in that setting.
Can you go to help and just search for gain?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way.
What? There's no gain in Logic, Peter. There's nothing to be gained.
It's all a lost leader there.
Anyway, so just make it short. I will find an answer for you because I was dealing with that before with some other guys. My actually customers, they have a lot of them have Logic. Yes, you can select all your channels and bring proportionally all your channels down, and to keep your, like, to be sure that your master out is not going too high.
Yeah.
-6 is already a lot.
Yeah.
In digital, we're talking about. Give me a second. If
Why you're finding that? Hey, Jason, in your mix, maybe Nick can answer this. How do you control, like in Logic and in GarageBand, the amount of vertical tracks you can see? Because like Jason, you were sort of scrolling up and scrolling down. Is there a way? I know you can do it, you can do the linear thing, but can you control, like make the tracks, the lanes narrower?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a vertical zoom in GarageBand. That's.
You might want to do that, Jason, so you could see all the tracks at once, like when you're reviewing them, like when we're going through this. And
that was just for sharing purposes. I have a pretty large monitor.
Yeah,
like my monitor would easily see all of them at once.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also going to say that with Craig's saxophone, yeah, your workaround was indeed it was interesting, because it was kind of like, whoa, what happened to this track? And if that happened without the you kind of gave a little disclaimer on that, so I was expecting it, but if I hadn't had that disclaimer, I would have been like, whoa, what just happened to the track? Did something happen to my speakers? I would have been I would have been a little bit it would have been a little shocking, but I mean, yeah, like, you acknowledge that that's unconventional. So, I know that you've thought through that, but I was just going to say that, I think, if you do receive a track that has a really low level, you can just simply use an EQ or a compressor within the plugins to bump that track up to where it's, it's more at the level. I saw that you had your fader slammed all the way up on his track. But what I usually do, like, for example, like in Wave, I put out my little thing about how, people were sending tracks sometimes that were clipping a little bit and that you needed to bring your input gain down in the recording stage, right? And after that, Monica responded to that, as always, with very diligent thoroughness. And the next couple tracks she sent me, she maybe overcompensated a little bit, right? And a couple of her tracks were really low. And what I had to do is I had to go, I actually just used a compressor and used the makeup gain. Like, I applied a little bit of light compression to it, but I used the makeup gain to bring that track up to where my fader was in kind of a reasonable place in the mix. So that would have been an alternative to deal with Craig's low level on that track, was to use either the global gain in the EQ or the makeup gain in a compressor on his track to bring the level up to where you could have your fader, like around,
Nick, I would add that compressor is a dangerous territory. So, because with compressor, what you do with compressor, you are changing dynamic range, and with compressor, basically you making it less dynamic, but also you're getting all the noises up. So probably the best way will be still the gain. And if you go back to your screen, I will try to change it. I found a way, like in Logic Pro, how it should be done. Let's see that. But it's Jason, that's for you too. So maybe just, if there is option, just increase the volume of whole track, in Cubase's envelope, you pretty much click on the track, it just bring it up all together, and it's getting louder without changing anything on the track. And I think in Logic it's the same.
I wonder if
Yeah.
GarageBand. I wonder if GarageBand does it, because Jason is in GarageBand over there.
Okay.
Which looks.
I think it is the same. So Nick, you have to go to show height flex button. Where is this one? On audio channel, there should be show and height flex button.
Should I do that on my stereo? Let's see.
On
Sure.
audio, any audio track.
Oh. You like the flex time?
Yeah, where is the flex time and everything? It should be there. And okay,
So maybe I need to be in my range button and my range view for that.
okay.
So let me go to arrange view. But this is the
Okay, yeah, I think this is what it's
that's the flex, right? But this is like this is like timing, not gain.
No. Stop. Stop for a sec. Choose.
Like go to configure the track header components.
So it says choose flex pitch from flex pop-up menu. Select region you want to adjust in audio track editor, and drag the gain slider. It should be a slider.
Gotcha. So I would need some audio. I would need some audio for this.
Yeah. Just
I won't be able to in this. Right, I have to open something.
Yeah, and that will help Jason too. I think it works the same way in GarageBand.
Okay, so let me.
Anything.
So let me go. Let's see. Just select. I'm going to select a region, and you said
Trim. Go to trim.
uh-huh.
Okay, not here. Split bounce.
Oh, trim is. They're not saying trim.
No. I'm looking at
They're
that
saying
too.
trim in terms of export.
Yeah.
Processing, perhaps. Selection based processing, tempo, edit.
Okay, can you just click on a file and just drag it up?
This file.
Yeah, volume up. Like this, yeah. Does it work? No.
No, that's how I move it around. So I need to be in some sort of different thing, and it could be because this track here. Hold on a second. Let me do something, because this is actually a whole stack of tracks. So let me like export the active comp to a new track. I can always go back and do this later. Maybe this is the issue. I know what you're talking about. There's a way that you can turn up the size of the waveform.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's not that you make it louder actually, but
right. So how is it that they describe that? Is there like a key modifier? Do you need to hit command or option or something?
it says in Logic Pro, click show height flex button in the audio track editor menu bar. Audio track editor menu bar.
Oh, show flex pitch time. Okay.
Okay, show that.
Then
choose flex pitch from flex pop-up menu, audio track pitch.
Okay.
And select region you want to adjust. And drag the slider. I'm reading from the.
Yeah.
I'm just. Oh, wow.
For some reason, it feels like it needs to. Oh, yeah, because there are multiple regions there when I exported the comp. Okay. So flex pitch, and then I'm going to do. What does it say?
Go to flex pitch menu. Click on it. Yeah. What is selection remix? I don't see slider.
Right. Neither do I.
Okay, I will find it. I will send you because it's very important. It's incredibly important for everybody and for Jason and for Tyler. Because if you guys, sorry to say, screw up levels, it's never gonna happen good. And one of the way, yes, to select all the faders, all audio tracks, and move all audio tracks down, but don't touch the master stereo fader.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Change.
I know what you're talking about. There was a thing, at some point I watched a little tutorial that was like, what's new in Logic 10? And it was like, you could, in the region, you could turn up the apparent volume of that track or something. So yeah, I guess I never had a necessity to get into that. I mean, that right, this little button here zooms the wave file.
I am already looking at the video. The guy is showing how to do that. Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Okay, how about this? Share copy. And let me do that for you guys. Oh. So I just shared a video, try to find it there. But anyway, let's just move forward with this. That's what John asked me to say, what kind of comments I could say, give about Jason stuff. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. Levels, 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 gain stage. This is how you achieve a good sound. Anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, just from a listening standpoint on it, is the groove on this thing. No offense to you, Jason, but this is you have to work with the materials you got from your musicians. It doesn't sound like the rhythm section's playing as a group right now. There's like, it's not as, no offense for Tyler, but it doesn't sound like Tyler's syncing up with the bass and the piano, like that they're all working together as a unit. And this is something for me that you, as an engineer, or you're mixing it, you try to do the best you can, like give the drum its space, give the bass its space, bring out the keys so we can hear those three guys, like what are they actually playing. Right now it's sort of all mushed in together, right? So you might want to try with EQing and panning them to, as best you can, get them in their own separate space. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about before, so we can maybe hear a little bit better. Tyler, on your end, you're sort of playing this whole thing as sort of a loose feel kind of deal, which doesn't give Monica a whole lot to hold on to as far as where the timing is and the beats are and with the bass. And it might be better for you to like try to record another drum part that is more in keeping with the actual being on time with the quarter note pulse. And then also when the tune goes da 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 da, you're like lagging the beat and everybody else is sort of pushing it. So they're like ahead and you're behind. And so again, it sounds like where's the group? Where's the common pulse? So Jason, that's not your problem. You got to work with what you got to work with, right? But I would say you want to play with like space and depth, and then just the EQing, trying to give each instrument its thing the best you can for what you got to work with. But that's what I would suggest with the rhythm section. Sometimes like under the solos, Monica's like playing way too much piano in her comp stuff. It's like, especially under Roger's guitar solo, she's playing some stuff in the background. I'm thinking, is this the piano solo or the guitar solo? Who's soloing here, right? So, I mean, that's part of like, what does it take to make a good track when you're recording with other people, right? Like, what's the focus? Because there always has to be a focus on one instrument or a section playing, say, a solely like a sax section solely, but it's still the focus is the rest of the band is supporting them playing the melody, or we're supporting Nick playing guitar, right? And if we're going to give Nick, his guitar solo is just due, it's either two ways. We're either working underneath to support him in the rhythm section, or we're having a conversation. Like he might be having a conversation back and forth with the bass player, guitar, bass, guitar, bass. Sort of like the Bill Evans, Scott LaFaro, Paul Mosian trio back in the 1960s. They had this three-way conversation going that really worked nicely for them, right? So, Tyler, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I would agree. I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So why don't you try recording another drum part for that? And same thing with Cubano Chant. You haven't recorded a part for that one yet. But really, when you're thinking about it, think about keeping the pulse in the pocket so that everybody has a solid foundation of timing to relate on. And then, catch the kicks as they go along. I'm not saying not do the kicks. I surely caught a lot of the kicks as we're going along. Because I think of drumming as a melodic endeavor, right? I mean, you sure heard me like leading into, say, on Cubano Chant, or even like on Tune 88, like that da 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 da. If you just heard that and you were Nick trying to put the guitar part to it, you go, oh, that's where it's at. I see where that accent thing is. Now I know where to lay my part in. Or the bass player goes boom, 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 bop, bop, boom, right? So think about that when you're laying your part in. It's real important. I think we better call it quits because don't you have a lesson to go to?
Yeah, I have to go teach. I have to go teach in Florida.
Thank you. Hey, Peter, did you receive my W-9 form to fill out? Get back?
Oh, I sent it to you back. And
okay, good.
Already.
Good.
Guys,
okay.
and this presentation, I will send it to John and Nick, and you can use it. It's basic. Yeah, but it gives you some starting points. And again, another lesson from this, besides all the space, and actually we can talk about space like for 100 years. It's so fun. But levels. I will find, I have a little flyer about levels, and I will send it to you too, just to be sure that you understand why you cannot go there. Red is bad. Just remember that. Don't go there.
Hey, I wore my red shirt today.
Yeah, I'm not talking about.
I feel like I just feel like my whole being is clipping.
Clipping.
Okay,
You're always
Peter,
clipping.
We'll get that check sent out to you here in the next day or two.
No problem. Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
thank
wonderful, Peter. So
See you
grateful.
later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And I sent an email, Dick, out to all the students with the assignments for next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful.
See you later.
All right.